there.
Hey, I'm JJ.
I'm Tyler.
Welcome to our underground lair. We're in the cellar.
Yeah, we moved.
Yep. So we've got all of our fancy bottles behind us, and we're going to be talking to you about fancy bottles in your wine club release.
That sounds fun.
Cool. Let's talk about Pioneer.
Pioneer 3.
Yeah, Pioneer version 3.
Cool.
Pioneer Red version 3 is the full name.
Yeah.
You got to get the whole thing in here.
Gotcha.
This is the long form video, so we have time to
Okay.
say the whole thing. So Pioneer version 3, we've made this wine a couple of times, and the idea here is to have a wine that talks about our grandparents and allows us the narrative device when people visit the tasting room and when they become members to talk about their history and their impact on Red Mountain. It's kind of wine as a storytelling device was the original idea, and here we're on version 3.
Awesome.
So we've got a couple different cultivars in the third blend, and there's no real correlation in or recipe between Pioneers.
Sure.
The idea is to make an approachable, tasty wine, and we want it to be a wine that no one else can make.
Right.
On the hill.
Kind of in part of our, tune of legacy here on the mountain, being able to provide a different wine, stylistically than what other people are making, some of our other awesome neighbors on the hill.
So Tyler's a winemaker. Tell us about this one.
Okay, so this is a really interesting wine. This has Lemberger, Grenache, and Petit Syrah headlining as these cultivars.
A traditional blend.
As you may know, we really embrace our Lemberger history and our legacy here on Red Mountain. This is an awesome wine to kind of try side by side with Lemberger because this is about a quarter of the blend here. Yeah. However, the Grenache and Petit Syrah, being the cultivars that they are, they're typically harvested a little riper. That means the alcohol can be a bit elevated compared to Lemberger, for example.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yes. But what that translates to is, you have this really aromatically beautiful, somewhat, Lemberger-esque, really intense fruit profile. But yes, Lembergery. But you have a little bit more structure and power and kind of that suave, velvety texture that in part comes from the alcohol, rounding out this wine. So this is a beautiful food wine. It goes well with by itself or a wide variety of dishes, and we're really excited to offer it because it was such a fun wine to make and blend together with these somewhat rare cultivars on Red Mountain.
Right. I mean, Red Mountain's known for Cabernet and things that blend into Cabernet.
Sure.
And Lemberger obviously is our thing. We've been doing that for 40 plus years.
Yeah.
Petit Syrah is pretty rare. I think there's a few other plantings on the hill, but we have about 5 acres of it at Heart of the Hill.
Sure.
And then Grenache is also probably the rarest of the GSM cultivars planted on the hill.
Sure,
it's
not
kind of a
much.
finicky cultivar to grow. So the fact that we're taking those 3 rarish cultivars, blending them together into a wine means, like we said, it's a wine that you can't get anywhere else. So we want to talk about John and Ann because, like we said, this is a wine as a narrative device. So
Sure.
we may as well take advantage of that. So John and Ann, to us, Grandma and Grandpa, so they pioneered the Red Mountain AVA. They planted the first vineyard here, which we call Kiona Estate Vineyard, in 1975. And they planted that vineyard with their friends, Jim and Pat Holmes. And so the 4 of them embarked on this journey with no real money, no real commercial experience growing wine grapes, and just an idea that it would do well and that they got to try it out. And they had a bunch of kids at home. Our dad was in high school, living at home when Kiona Estate Vineyard was planted. And so everyone helped out. We still have people visit the tasting room, actually, because my dad recruited a bunch of his friends in the Tri-Cities here. Hey, come on out. We're planting a vineyard. We'll pay you some money. Let's go dig some holes in the ground.
Yeah.
We still have people coming to the tasting room, and they're all about my dad's age. And they say, hey, I helped plant this vineyard.
Yeah.
You probably did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So John and Ann, without them, there's no Red Mountain. They had a lot of pioneering spirit, a lot of gumption, a lot of moxie to make all of that happen when there was certainly no established Washington wine industry.
Sure.
And the idea that they could eke out any kind of existence growing wine grapes, much less their grandsons would be making a career out of it 40 years later, was pretty wild.
Yeah, that's very cool. The other thing about this wine that's really cool in the context of John and Ann's legacy is if you may be familiar with other wines grown around this area, you'll know that they can be quite tannic. Kiona Vineyards arguably has a history of making kind of these middle of the line extracted wines. They're not super light. They're certainly not the heaviest wines you can find in this area.
We have a Goldilocks tannin.
Yeah, as we think, right? Yeah, it's all relative. But this is a good opportunity as well to expand on winemaking style a little bit, to keep these wines really fresh and aromatically powerful, kind of in our house style, you could say. We utilize a number of different types of barrels and barrel formats, barrel sizes. When you step up to larger sizes of barrels, you tend to have more aromatic power. The wines age slightly differently, slightly slower, arguably, because you've changed the ratio of the surface area to volume inside the barrel when you expand the barrel size. So thereby, including a few of these larger barrels, we can really stylistically drive these wines to be really aromatically powerful and really pop in your mouth, which is one of our goals for making this well-rounded wine that can match with a variety of environments and situations.
It's a way to capture and accentuate the nice things that a barrel does, while necessarily avoiding a lot of the overt oak character. That
like over-oaking it, which is never our goal. We always are trying to strive for that. Right. Goldilocks, as we say.
The Goldilocks. Yeah. Okay, so we made about 227.83.
Yeah, that sounds pretty darn close. Yeah.
So members are getting most of it. There'll be a little left over when all the boxes are filled and they all go out. But yeah,
cool. That's exciting.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hope you enjoy. Thank you.